Hello everyone, it is Jake here. Hopefully my microphone is actually working this time in my camera. I'm out here on the Duke and we're gonna go meet up with Elliot Alvis of the YouTube channel, Elliot Alvis, over here in Mays, Kansas to go to our local drag strip because I want to see where this bike is at. I want to see how it compares to when it was new, and I want to see how I compare to other people, I guess. I have literally never been on a drag strip in my life, so this ought to go well, be entertaining if nothing else. Let's go see if we can find an Elliot. Clear? If you're a frequent viewer of the channel, first of all, thank you, and second of all, you probably recognize why my voice sounds so good. It's voiceover time! Last video, my GoPro decided to not work properly with the lapel mic in my helmet, and despite testing it and it working again, it didn't work again, so here we are. So my 1998 Ducati Super Sport is a bike designed to go carving corners. Unfortunately, I live in Kansas and the roads around here are straight lines. Our road system resembles grid paper, and so our racetracks are arranged similarly. They're just straight lines, roughly a quarter mile in length, known as a drag strip. Despite growing up in the Wichita area, I have never been down a drag strip. I've been there a couple times and I've watched, and not quite my thing, but I figured I should go down there and really see what this Ducati can do. I also find drag racing motorcycles a little bit more interesting because you can't really fall off a car, though things can fall off of your car and then make you crash, which did actually happen. Right off the bat, as soon as I get here, I hardly even had time to run over and get a brief rundown on how the tree works before I had to get on my bike and get in line. Here we are waiting to line up. First race was against this dragster, and that's a pretty intimidating thing to line up against. I would have really been happy with just like a 14 or a 15. Really, my only goal for the first run was to not fall off the bike or stall the bike, but I still kind of went for it. There you have it. My very first run down the drag strip on anything is a 12.84 at 105 miles an hour. Honestly, pretty stoked with that. Reaction time was a 0.3 with a 2 second 60 foot. Not awful numbers. I definitely didn't get the launch quite right. Got a bit of a wheelie going on there, and then I completely botched the shift into third, but I was pretty confident at this point that I could get that number down significantly by not doing those two things that I just mentioned. And I did manage to improve with a 12.63 at 107, though my 60 foot and reaction were both worse. This would be my top time of the day. My third race in the left lane this time is actually a race against someone. There's a GSXR 600 that was running around the 12.6, 12.7 mark. I thought it would be a pretty tight race, so I lined up against him and proceeded to run my worst time of the day. That was a 12.9 at 106. What's interesting is that I had him all the way up until the 8th. I got to the 8th in 8.3, he was there in 8.5, but he was doing 10 miles an hour faster than me by that point. So the Ducati just did not have the top end to keep ahead of the much more modern GSXR. Unfortunately, my last run wasn't even really that much better. 12.8 at 106, reaction time down to 0.4, 60 foot at 2.2. Weirdly, I never seemed to be able to improve on those first two runs, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. I do have a theory though. I posted footage of one of my runs on a Ducati owners group, and I was told that I was actually shifting too late. After my first run, I started to put more thought into the technical aspects, like launching and making sure to shift properly and at redline. And as it turns out, Ducatis don't rev out to redline all that well. If you look at a dyno chart that graphs torque and power, at about 7,000 RPM, they just fall off an absolute cliff. If you run it out to redline, you're basically leaving 10 horsepower and 20 pound-foot of torque on the table. That is a massive amount on a bike that only makes like 78 to begin with. I think I could probably get a bit closer to the factory numbers, which, as near as I can tell, are about 11.8 at 112. And what's funny about that is the mile an hour isn't that much faster. This is just a way lower ET. Bike quarter mile times are kind of funny to me like that. Teal GMT 400 dually is everything I ever wanted in life. Oh, we're waiting for Elliot to make a run here, and this G-body went down, an old Regal with like an LS or something in it, and his back wheel came flying off. I think he was racing, what was that, that was a Scat Pack Charger. Yeah, Scat Pack Charger. It was pretty even, honestly, but then he faltered and hit the wall, and it was because his rear right wheel flew off. And it's somewhere, but yeah, he slid along the wall there for a while and came to rest. So yeah, that's a track shut down for a while. That might actually be the night.
That's racing.
It is racing. That's the interesting part. That's what you come here for.
But my Prius is getting cold, man. I need to.
Oh yeah, you got to keep the heat in your tires.
Prius is getting cold. The track's getting cold.
Oh, that's
got another 17-second run to post here. We need to get this GM crap off the strip.
For your superior Toyota engineering.
So I can let my Toyota fly.
See what kind of damage this G-body has to it. That does, I mean, that looks pretty good for as many sparks as there were. Oh yeah, that's fine, that's fixable. My gosh, it's just a little bit of damage to the rear fender. That's good. That'll live again. Kinda want one. Uh-huh. Oh, hey, it's manual. Oh, that's a wideband meter and a boost gauge. That's a turbo CRV. I want this thing badly. Interesting. Okay. Why not?
Oh, I hope the CRV is actually fast.
Not a good launch, but it boogies. Wow. Well, my voice is gone and I'm exhausted. I think that's about all I've got in me for tonight. Definitely didn't hit my goal of matching the factory times for this bike, but you know, we'll get there. There might still be some tuning. There might be some more power left in it. It certainly doesn't seem quite as sprightly as people describe these bikes as being, so there might be a bit left on the table. We'll see. At any rate, thanks for watching.